Just give them a heads up next door, but
I think it's because she's getting fed.
she's getting fed a lot. Yeah. But well, I mean, what was it like yesterday?
I honestly hadn't seen her poop in that room.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, she's been, because we've been letting her out, but I don't know if she didn't let her out this morning or what.
Okay. Cool. Well, how the heck are you?
Hi, I'm James.
Nice to meet you. My name is Benjamin, and I appreciate you coming down. Rebecca, Rebecca or Trixie is she's a great lady, and she's given me some great guests. It's actually it's been a real cool thing. So so tell me about James. What?
I volunteer at Operation Kindness. I've
Okay.
been there going on 11 years.
Uh-huh.
And while I've been there, we ran into a session, a need. We have dogs that, as you know, people are, if the dog isn't pretty, they don't want it. And it's really weird because they could be the most beautiful, loving dog.
Oh yeah.
But if it doesn't look right, so.
Black,
Mhm.
just sort of what I call the brown dog.
Yeah, the brown dog, it's just plain looking, all of a sudden it's not, they don't want it.
Right.
So what we ran into is we would have cute little dogs like that that would just need a groom and clean up, and but we didn't have any money. The shelter didn't put that in the budget. So what we did was volunteers got together and they formed a group and went and got money and so got people to donate. And so one day, they've been doing this for a little while, and it was like, how can I help? And so I said, well, I can write books, and I can donate proceeds from the books to help. And so that's what I started. I started doing that. But it teaches kids. With their empowering books, it teaches them they can make a difference. That they don't have to have money. They don't need to be rich. They don't need to be big. That any little thing they do to help, think of others, be kind, show empathy, show kindness, show compassion.
Like the dog does.
Like the dog does. And of course, it's just, they're great models. They really are, because they forgive, they love, all their heart, all they're looking for is to do right.
Well, it's just she's an amputee because of a cruelty case, and she doesn't hold that against any of us. She doesn't. It wasn't a person did this to me, and I'm going to carry that around with me and mistrust everyone. It's a beautiful thing, really.
It really is. And honestly, I had being at the shelter, we had a new volunteer come in, and she was walking the dog, and she came up to me and she says, these are nice dogs and everything, but I just can't see her adopting them. And I looked at her and I'm like, why would you say that? And she said, well, they're damaged. And I'm looking at her like, okay, take a deep breath. Okay.
Right.
It's like, okay, miss, I don't know you. We've never met. But let me tell you, you need to change your thinking. You need to fix it. Because these dogs are not damaged. It's like, let me tell you.
They're not damaged, they're homeless.
Right. Exactly. And, just like you said, they've been beaten, they've been let down, they've been starved, they've been hurt. But do they hold that against us? No. They love us. They're just looking to share their life. I says, maybe that's what you need to take away. That's the message you need to learn.
Oh yeah.
And so she sat there and she looked at me and she thought about it for a second. And she said, you know what? You're right. I do change my thinking.
Well, and we're talking about the brown dog. The brown dog. As a matter of fact, we've got this mama dog and 8 puppies that's in this playroom right over here. And somebody asked me, what kind of dog is this? And I said, well, what kind of puppies is these? I said, well, the mama dog is a brown and white dog, and I said these puppies are all brown and white, and I think these are purebred brown and white dogs.
Exactly.
But the thing is, people are focused on this breed or that, and you say a dog is a companion. A dog is not a handbag. It's not a pair of shoes. It's a companion. When we say I'm going to the Ranger game, I need to find a buddy to go to the Ranger game with. I do not say I need a buddy to go to the Ranger game with, but I need him to be 6 foot tall, and I need a blonde crew cut, and I also need a strong jaw.
Mhm.
This isn't what we say. We say I need somebody that I click with, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So I mean, as a shelter volunteer, when you walk people through, um, how do you so basically, up here, I like to tell people, the best way to find a dog is ask shelter staff who your favorite is, because they'll take you to something probably you never expected,
Exactly.
and it'll be something amazing. So how when you're walking someone through the shelter, tell me about how you do it.
I take them through, and again, I do take them straight to my favorite first, and it's always ends up being a pit bull. And I'm like, okay, I know you probably don't want this, but let me make this the best dog ever.
Right.
Because I've usually been working with them, and it's somebody that I know, because I've been trained to train the dogs, and part of what I do there is I help socialize. I give them some quick tricks so that when they, a potential adopter comes in, it's like, hey, sit, hey, shake, hey, down, and because some days it's like selling a car. You got more bells and whistles. They're like, oh, that's so great. Oh my goodness. And that's what sells it. Yes, the dog is great, but you have to get them to work past whatever it is they have in their head and see how great this dog really is.
See them the way we see them.
Exactly.
And that's the and I would have Blue in here. This dog lives here in the shelter. He's a lab mix, but he doesn't really have any hair.
Mm-hmm.
And he's I think the perfect example is when people see him, they go, and I'm like, you know, when somebody comes in and instead of going, reaches down to pet him, when they see what we see in him,
Mm-hmm.
that's when I don't know. That's when this all makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
It's just something beautiful. So. Well, tell me something. So 11 years ago, you started volunteering for Operation Kindness. Tell me what prompted you, to walk down there and say, you know what, I'm gonna go volunteer at the shelter.
I volunteered there years ago when I was in undergrad, and it was one of these class things they send you to go do something. And I went down there and volunteered. So years and years ago, I'd been there. Well, my dog, her name was Minnie Dog, little Chihuahua, and she developed, we think, a brain tumor because they're like, it's going to be $1,000 for you to even tell, and once we tell, there's nothing you can do.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
Someone can still come for
Oh.
the money.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
All right. So anyway, go ahead.
So I had to put her to sleep, and so she died in March. And so May, to honor her, I started volunteering at Operation Kindness. And so it was to get a dog fix and
The devil one.
It's Motorola. It's Android.
So just
Yeah.
just a second. What do you think about the watches? I mean, do you think it's something that's do you think it's a
It's a
benefit?
niche thing. I love it. It's cool because I can see who's calling. I can see, hey, I got a text message. I need to, go see what they said, or But most of the time, it just you sort of get used to it. It's something that it's like, oh, okay, yeah, all right. Or you're driving along, you're walking along. Oh, so and so, or it's like, oh, I can't talk to them right now. So
It's a benefit.
it's a benefit.
Okay. All right. Okay. I was just been curious about it, but so to honor her memory,
Then it started volunteering.
and where did Minnie Dog come from?
Minnie Dog was my friend's dog in grad school, and I used to take care of her when they would go out of town. Well, one day, they're like, oh, we've got a 6-year-old, he's too hard on her, and we're afraid he's gonna hurt her, so we're gonna get rid of her. And I'm like, she was only, I think she was 6 at the time, and I'm like, dude. And so I said, you know what? She stays with me enough. She knows me. Just make it permanent. So she did, or they did. And so she was with me 8 years. I was in grad school, so she would go with me at night. We would go walking. she was like queen of the campus, you know.
Right.
So, and she had a great attitude, just smart as could be, and so it was great. It was real. I loved having her. I moved home. My mom got sick, and they thought it was cancer.
Mhm.
So I quit grad school and came home.
Mhm.
And so they're like, well, who do you know your dog is? I'm like, what are you talking about?
Mhm.
I said, well, you gotta leave your dog alone. Well, if that's the case, then I'm not coming. You know?
Right.
I said, that's my dog. You
Yeah.
know? They're like, well, just leave her up there and just go back. I'm like, no.
No.
Like, she comes with me, and if there's a problem, then I'll go find someplace. But,
Right.
no, she comes with me.
Mhm.
And so mom and dad fell in love with her. And they were just, they were heartbroken when she died.
Mhm.
But like I said, to honor her, and I went and started working with dogs again, and sitting with them, helping them get through. Because sometimes it's there's so much going on, there's so much stress, they're afraid, there's all sorts of things. But it's patience and love, and helps them, shows how wonderful they can be.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and that is the amazing part about it. I mean, um, you're talking about being heartbroken. No, Merida. You're talking about being heartbroken, and they live together. It's not anything serious, but you talk about being heartbroken. You always know the right kind of people when you're talking about a movie and an animal dies in it, and that is the death that sticks out.
Yeah.
Like there's I don't know if you watch Game of Thrones, but there was a recent animal death in that show that really impacted me. But basically, I think one of the reasons it gets to us that way, because in a movie, if you want to make somebody the bad guy, you make
kick the dog.
yeah, you make
exactly.
yeah. So the I think what how it affects us is that a dog or a cat may hurt you, but they've never hurt you with malice in their heart. You know, dogs and cats are true innocents. They're not capable of malice. You know, and so I think that's what it is that sort of gets to us. So, and just another just sort of not probably related question, but what were you studying?
I was studying instructional technology.
Oh, really?
So yeah, I have a master's in neuroscience,
Okay.
and I was working on a PhD, but ended up with a master's.
Mhm.
And so then I still wanted a PhD,
Mhm.
and so I got into an instructional technology program.
Mhm.
So because I have an IT background, I was in the military,
Oh,
and
okay.
so they trained me to work on computers, networks, radio.
Mhm.
So I do that for a living.
Mhm.
And so when another opportunity to get his PhD came along, my friends like, James, go to this program. All the stuff you have will work together. And then my mom got sick, and I was like, well, obviously I needed to be home.
Yeah.
So
Huh. Well, that's fascinating. So yeah, you wrote some books. You wrote some books because specifically targeted towards grooming and
well,
these.
that was actually my second book. My first book was A Day in the Dog's Life from a Dog's Point of View.
Uh huh.
And I'd been around enough dogs, because I think I'd been at the shelter 7 years
Mhm.
when I did that book.
Mhm.
And it's, I pooped, I peed, I sniffed some butts, I sang along with my fellow mutts.
Right.
So,
Okay. Yeah.
and it's truly catches the spirit of the dog.
Uh-huh.
And so we released that, and we were able to raise $1,300 for the grooming center to
Really?
help them. Yeah.
Huh.
So between, we asked people to donate, we, selling books, and so, 1,300 dogs, 1,300, 80 dogs got groomed,
Mhm.
and sometimes the dog would get adopted in 10 minutes after doing that.
Oh yeah, it's amazing how often something that's basically superficial is the difference in an adoption. I mean, it's just amazing. So when did you write that first one?
I wrote it, we released it in 2013. so slowly, they're illustrated. So my best friend illustrated them for me. And he said, he made the mistake. He's like, because I know what an amazing artist he is, and he had stopped doing any of it. So I told him one day, I said, you need to get back to the art. And he's like, well, he said, I'll tell you what, you write a book, I'll illustrate it. And so I think the next week I had a book written.
Guess what?
Put your money where your mouth is.
That's right. You're getting back on the horse. You're getting back on the horse. So yeah, that's what's and the thing is, a lot of us, I think the creative impulse is important. Okay, I think everybody's got something, a creative spark about something, whether it's painting, whether it's whatever it is. And the thing is, you can't just push it down. You have to do something creative. It's one of those parts of exercising a part of yourself that you have to exercise. So that's so have you always been interested in writing or?
I would do it just for fun, and I did it like a friend of like friends at the shelter. They're, the dogs. I would write little cute things for their bios to get people interested and say, hey, come take a look at me, yada yada yada. And so and it helped sometimes, and sometimes it didn't. But it was always fun for them, and it's always always trying to help, make a difference. And so when the opportunity came along, I did it. And again, it was to help the dogs at the shelter. And so we did that book. We did one that is about volunteering, teaching kids that they can volunteer. Then after that, we did a bullying book. We went with dinosaurs, and I really like that because it's not any ethnicity. It's not black, white, gray. It's dinosaurs. They're yellow. They're orange. They're green. So nobody can accuse you. Get past all that other stuff. Look at what really counts. And so little dinosaur, he has a new friend in school, and he's poor, and so he goes and asks his mom and dad if he can give him his brand new tennis shoes. And so he does it, and he sneaks them into the kid's locker, and he puts a note. He says, when you can help someone, you do it. So he's like, I'm not asking for anything. And he didn't tell him who it was. And so the little kid, it made his day. And it inspired him. It inspired the rest of the kids in the school. And so they went and they ran around collecting shoes to donate to those who needed them. So and that's how that story goes. And so then after that one, I did because I love pit bulls. I did a pit bull advocacy book. And so I called a bunch of my friends who have pit bulls, all rescues, and so I said, I need your story. I need to know how you got your dog and how you rescued it and everything. And so I got 6 different ones from around the area. And then this famous Dallas photographer, she offered to take portraits of the dogs. And so I have 6 real life dogs, their stories, and a beautiful portrait of them. And and of course we did it all in, I write sort of like Dr. Seuss, all of it's in lines. So, and it's to help the kids understand, to make it easier, things like that. So on that book, there's a story about a rescue dog, rescue pit bull, and then there you go. There's Blue.
And let me tell you what, he's a portly. He's a portly
Just a little bit, just a little.
That is funny.
So I had my friends. They went and took their dogs over there, and they got them portraits and just some beautiful pictures.
That is a great one.
Yep.
That's real regal too.
That's Princess Shawnee.
Oh man. So your weakness is pit bulls. So
And chihuahuas.
actually, and that's the thing about people that spend a lot of time in shelters. That's really, because that's what we see.
Oh,
and those are the ones that get passed over. The ones that people, they come in and say, I'm looking for a little dog. And you say, great, okay, and then they're like, no, they're chihuahuas.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and you're like, well,
Yeah, it's like I got tons of those.
Yeah, I mean, those are the dogs that need help. you come in and you say, well, I'm looking for a Yorkie, I'm looking for a Maltese.
Yeah.
Well, you say, and they'll tell you, they'll say, I'm looking for a Yorkie Maltese. You say, you're probably best off with a breed specific rescue. And they're like,
Yeah.
well, I'm looking, they wanna adopt a 4 or 5 year old dog.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, if what you're looking for is a young Yorkie or Maltese, you probably need to go to a breeder. And then
Yeah.
they tell you, but I want a rescue. Well, no, those dogs don't need rescue.
Yeah.
A 1 year old Maltese, you're not rescuing that.
Yeah.
Those are not the dogs that need help.
Yep.
And sometimes and I don't know what their intentions are. But I always want to say, rescue's it's about saving a life. It's not about saving money.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, Yorkies. I mean, Chihuahuas and pits. So what do you have right now? What kind
I
of?
have a Mexican hairless.
Oh, okay.
And he's a rescue. He was the first Mexican hairless that Operation ever got. And that was their 30 years. He was the first one. He's 6.5 pounds. Has a little bit of paintbrush at the tail and a little bit on his knuckles, but that's it. Other than that, he's naked. And he wears clothes because he got a nice farmer's tan.
Yeah.
But other than that, he's good. Because the teeth gene is linked to the hair gene, he's got three of his canines and then his molars, and that's it. So, but he's happy. He's good.
Well, that's one of the things, with these little dogs in general. If you don't stay on top of their teeth, it becomes a nightmare by the time they're 6, 7, 8 years old. And that's one of the things when we're pulling, you know, these middle aged dogs. So often that's the big expense over next door at the hospital is the dentistry. Because the type of dog often that ends up in a shelter environment, you know, hadn't you know had a whole lot of attention paid to their teeth and all that. So yeah, I mean it's a struggle, and that's the thing. You talk about people telling you, well, I mean you're moving out here, the statistics say that's the most common reason given for surrender is I'm moving, I can't take the dog with me, and it's hard to wrap your mind around.
Yeah.
You know.
And I've seen it. I've seen, the place I'm going. I'm like, well, then find a different place.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm sorry. That's your baby. That's your dog. I mean, they love you. They're not going to understand.
She can't sign a lease.
Yeah, no.
So I mean, yeah, and then to then say, well, we're, I mean, and you know this as a person, volunteering for a long time in one of these types of places, we've got a limited amount of space, and so when people come and they say, oh, I want to surrender an animal, you say, I don't have any room, and they say, where did I go? And you say, well, these are. Well, I want to take them someplace without a euthanized. And you say, I say, where a place you're not going to be euthanized is?
Your home.
Your home. Your home. That's where they're not going to be euthanized. That's the best place for it. And so, and that's also why I'm big advocate. You're talking about training. That's why I'm big advocate of training because, ultimately, these people. There's only, I think, one reason people surrender an animal, and that's because they just don't have a very good relationship with that animal. They don't have a positive relationship with the animal. So like a lot of times it's because guests come over and the dog jumps up on them. The dog keeps peeing and pooping in the house.
Yeah.
All of these are things that like. Hold on. And that's the reason that. Oh, he broke that. So you're gonna take it away too. So anyway, yeah, I mean, there's all these things that a dog that maybe is unsocialized or untrained, and those are the reasons that they're really surrendering the dog is because it's tears the yard up, blah blah blah, married up. So, all right, and so is Helping Hands, is that
Cubby Tales.
Helping Tales? So is that your publishing company or?
It's my publishing company.
Okay, perfect.
And so after the dinosaur book, we did. Let's see. We did a book to help kids and people deal with the loss of a pet. And of course, we did it from an animal's perspective. So it's the Patches is our mascot of the company. And so it's him, the squirrel that lives in his tree, and the neighbor's cat. And they're sitting there talking about, where do pets go when they pass. And so, we did really joyful, they're okay. They're not hurting. They're playing. They're having fun. But they didn't forget you. They remember you, and your love is never forgotten.
Mm-hmm.
And because I know that is the hardest thing to do is to lose your pet.
Yeah,
You
it
know,
is.
so to know or to feel that you're, no matter what, you're still remembering that they haven't forgotten you either. And there's even, so we did it. Patches talks about the dogs. The cat talks about the cats. But you do see sort of in the intro, you see that every animal, every pet has an area that they go to.
Mm-hmm.
And so the dogs are with the dogs, fish with the fish, turtles with the turtles.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that we segregated, it's just it was easier that way.
Right, right.
But believe me, I got, whoa, so you're segregated. I'm like, no, it's not that. It's like, oh my goodness, I can't get anything right, everybody. So it's like, no, it's not segregation. It's just the fish, we don't want the cats eating the fish. The fish have to be safe.
That is funny. Oh boy. So, and this is the type of thing, they would put. So there's next door to the hospital there's room, some consultation rooms, some room where
Oh yeah.
so this is this is I would tell my dad about this to say hey, this is probably a good book to put in the consultation room because it's one of those things. It is a hard thing to talk to kids about.
It is. It is. So so we did that one, and then a few months back we had the shampoo company Paul Mitchell.
Uh-huh.
Okay, well they have a pet line called John Paul Pet.
Uh-huh.
And so this woman's been after me for a year or so. She says, James, really, I want us to partner on a book. I want us to partner on a book. I'm like, okay. And so she says, well, here, I have this story. I'm like, so she sends it to me. It's 3 pages long. I'm like, 3 pages isn't going to get you much.
Right.
I said, I'm sorry, I'm good, but let me tell you. So I thought about it and thought about it. And so then she called me again. She said, how about a coloring? I'm like, I said, well, yeah, maybe. So I sat and thought about it some more, and I'm like, okay, I got an idea. So I wrote a 32-line poem based on her 3-page story.
Mm-hmm.
And so then I handed it over to my illustrator, and he did one picture per line of the poem.
Mm-hmm.
And so then we put some puzzles and games and stuff at the end. And so we ended up with a nice sized book. And now the funny thing is, these guys. This is an interesting thing about working with somebody multi-billion-dollar. They didn't give me a penny. They let me have permission to use all their trademarks and everything.
Uh-huh.
But at the end, instead of saying, "Hey, let's give you some money because you really did this. This is great," they're using it for their advertising. They're using it for their Christmas stuff. They're actually releasing a Christmas gift set with my dog on the front.
Really?
Mm-hmm. And they licensed it for a year from me for free because they told me, well, we're going to donate the money from this to rescues, to shelters. And so then at the end, they're like, up to $5,000. Oh, okay, yeah. So, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm still getting $5,000 to rescue out of this, so I'm not going to complain. And so then they call me and they're like, we want you to do another book, and but we want to own it this time because I own all the rights and everything for that because they didn't pay me anything. So
Right. I know. Yeah.
It's like I'm not gonna give it away.
Yeah. I'm not just. Yeah. Yeah. Charity goes from John Paul Mitchell to the disadvantage, not from the disadvantage to John Paul. Yeah.
So and the funny thing is, they know what I do. They know that I take the proceeds and donate it to charity. And so they said, "Oh, James, we want pennies So they sold these gift boxes, and they sold them to Bed Bath and Beyond and Penny's. And so we're talking 55,000 of these that they're going to sell to. So these companies are going to have them for Christmas. And so
This year?
yeah.
Oh, right.
And so they said, well, Penny's wants to give do the buy this and give a book for free. I'm like, okay. And it's like, well, what can you sell it to us for? So I got a quote, and I went all the way to China, and I didn't go there, but hello. You doing okay?
Oh, okay.
You want yours in there?
Oh, actually, you know what? I'm gonna take mine because I got 3.5 hours of sleep last night. So go ahead and fuel up.
Your hot dogs are there. You're right.
Thank you.
You're out.
So, anyway.
So they said, okay, well, Penny's wants 35,000 of those books.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, okay. So I found a place in China that would print them at a reasonable price that I could then sell them, because they only wanted to pay $1 per copy.
Uh-huh.
So I got it down to $1, and I said, okay, I can do it for $1. You know, when you want to put in the order, yada, yada, yada. Well, can't you do 50 cents? I'm like, no. Yeah, I said, 50 cents, I don't make anything.
Yeah, basically, the Chinese laborers are not running a charity.
Hi, sweet babies. I got some. I have to cash out, but I have to empty mine. Do you want me to go somewhere else? They wouldn't even let us stay, think about it or anything. I had my son come out, and he was holding the sign, and I had set up outside, and we started to get cash. Nobody wants to do the computer.
I know.
But I got two on the computer, and I'm gonna match whatever's here, but I gotta empty my purse too.
Oh, yeah.
The big bills are in there. I'll let the little one.
Well, and that's the thing about North Texas Giving Days is the struggle because, people think, well, hey, we'll just donate. And you're like, well, but it has to be through North Texas.
Side.
Yeah.
But the thing is my son said, you can take that money, put it in your account, and we'll donate it.
Yeah.
And you get the 10%, right?
Well, I think, but the issue.
I'm gonna donate online, right in front of you. I'll match whatever that is. I gotta empty my purse quick. You don't mind, do you?
No.
It's not on TV. It is.
Well, but you can move over to this chair over here. And
Okay, well, I don't need to be on TV.
But yeah, that's the thing. So and that's the funny thing on North Texas Giving Day is that it is a little different than people are expecting with the donations. And then the other thing is that a lot of these prizes are tied to individual donors.
Oh, yeah.
Can I empty it like dog bed?
Yeah, of course.
It's spilled out.
Sit.
And I don't know if there's still money. Okay.
Sit.
All right, it's okay.
Merida, sit.
It's okay, girl. It's okay. I just need to get the money out of there.
She's like,
It's okay. No, it's okay.
Huh?
You got more than a box?
Okay, there really wasn't that much in there.
There's supposed to be some. Yeah, I'm gonna have to get it tomorrow, but yeah. Are we completely out? Yeah. Okay. All right. So, all right.
So count that up and I'll match it on this. And then maybe you could put in the checking account, donate online, right?
I don't know.
That's what Jeffrey was saying, and I said, well, I'm not doing that. I said, I'm gonna go down and I'll sit over here. Baby. If you could just tell people, that's the thing we want. I mean, inside, all I could do was smile.
Right.
And then outside, Jeffrey was holding the sign and everybody, we were saying good morning and everything, and people were starting to give money.
Mm-hmm.
And he, as they were going in, he goes, just think about it, it helps animals. And they came out and said that we couldn't do that. So we had to stop that.
Right. So 46, 47.
No, there's money in the envelope.
Is it? Yeah, I got that. It was all singles and
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But there was two $25 donations online.
Oh, yes.
So you gotta count that, add it up.
Yeah. So 26 plus.
And then round up the change, and I will match it on.
Let's see, 76, and
And then the people. Oh, okay. Somebody gave me some information
Mhm.
that they have fundraisers like car washes and stuff, and said we could do that.
Yeah. So 77. Let's say 79. 79.
So I'll just do 100. At least $100.
well, plus the 50 that was online, so.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Did you? Okay.
Yeah. So. I tell you what. I always tell people, this dog was a cruelty case. This Molly well behaved dog. All right. This one right here, of course, is a puppy, so she's got I mean, he's got an excuse, but this Molly well behaved dog right here, and people always ask me, like over at the hospital, they always say, why don't your other dogs act like Mariners? She's so well behaved. And I'm like, I didn't raise this one. I raised those other ones. That's why they act a fool. So anyway, so JC Penney's gonna be selling the gift packages.
Yeah, but they didn't want to buy the books at all.
Oh, okay.
It's
So
like, oh no, that's too expensive. I'm like,
right. It's supposed to benefit the rescues.
Yeah.
This isn't like
Yeah. it's like, okay.
we're not negotiating options on a car purchase. So.
Well, I was like, oh well.
Huh.
Yeah, so it gets interesting.
Yeah.
I've been doing this for a while. I've dealt with, charities and rescues, and so I don't just work with Operation Kindness anymore. Now I volunteer at Operation Kindness,
Mm-hmm.
but I work with all sorts of shelters.
It was how much was it? How much did we have?
76. Well,
That's all?
So no, 76 plus the
So
225.
125.
125. Yeah.
There's no place for that. So that's in the other column, right?
I think so.
Okay. All right. Got it.
You see, that's exactly right. Yes, he is. He's a naughty dog. So,
Not miscontrol issues. I know plenty of dogs today.
so what's your best memory? 11 years volunteering in the shelter. What's your best memory? The thing you look back on most fondly. The thing that you go, this ended up. This is exactly why I do this. What?
Oh my goodness, I had so many. Last Christmas we had a pit bull that her first adoption, she adopted at 8 weeks. She was in our foster, and so love, brought up in love, just great, situation. And so she went to a home, and we did not know it at the time, but it was a domestic violence home. And so she was kept for 6 months at that home. And come to find out that I was probably beating her along with the wife. And so, but at 8 months, she was big enough that it wasn't funny anymore, and he was afraid he was going to get bit. So they returned her. Well, that's not easy to happen.
Oh yeah.
So, and poor thing, she all of a sudden got really protective, and especially over the women. So she was sitting next to a woman, and the man raised his voice, she would react. And so she went out. She went out 3 times. She went out for 8 months, then she went out for 2 weeks, and then she went out for a month. And the other two adoptions are like, oh, she's got something, she gets, too possessive or protective. And it wasn't until we learned about the domestic violence stuff that it's like, oh, so she ended up back at the shelter for 9 months. And so she was already over a year. And so she went, so I started working with her, and we bonded, and she is just beautiful, just a lovely dog. And so Christmas Eve last year, somebody came and looked at her and decided he was going to adopt. And I mean, 9 months of working with the dog, and it was great. She went home, and she had to go through some more training to work past some of the issues, and she still has some bad moments, but she's like a PTSD soldier.
Yeah.
Everybody has bad moments.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. Dogs have a lot of empathy for us. When a dog sees us hurting, they try to take that hurt away. They don't. they don't try to add to it, and that's the thing. Because of the positive relationship we have with dogs, a relationship that goes back 33,000 years, basically, it's something we owe them. It's, they have empathy for us, we need to, we need to have empathy for them. And so, yeah, I mean, it's, particularly, I don't know how active, basically, I don't know how active Operation Kindness is with actual, like, pulling from city shelters, or if it's more of a surrender situation.
No, we do that.
Oh, okay.
We do farm shelters.
So yeah, I mean, if you spend a lot of time going over there, then it can be kind of, basically, it gets to, honestly, it gets to the point where you're kind of inured to it, because like you sit there and you go, there's hundreds of kennels, and you say, black and white pity, black and white pity, black and white pity, black and white pity, and I don't know what the answer is.
Oh, no. I don't either. I do know that, we need to work on, spay
That's
neuter.
where we were, and she
Okay.
said, and this is the offer.
Okay.
They offered to help.
Really?
Yeah,
So
to set up a fundraiser there.
Oh,
And that's the name.
perfect.
It wasn't today. I couldn't set it there today, but yeah.
Right. That's awesome.
Hey, you know what? I bet you get some good donations.
Right.
Do you want me to go anywhere else?
I don't know. You got any ideas? Someplace that might be high traffic? I don't
The
know.
thing that would be nice is if I could solicit. I could do good.
Right. Give me just a second. Because the places that I think of are like,
They had online when I looked, like when I pulled it up, all those places they list. Do you have to sign up prior to get them?
I don't know. I honestly don't know.
It looked like, that it said that certain places certain people would be there, so you might have to sign up, but that's a.
I don't know. I didn't even notice that.
Yeah,
So,
if you go to the page and it says, if you just look up Texas Giving Day, and it gives who will be where or whatever or whatever. So I guess it was a pre-signed thing. But then I'm sure you would do all this.
You would think so. Yeah.
Pictures in. Like I brought Jackson's picture up and I showed this lady I just looked up a phone number for her. She needed a phone number, so I looked it up and she goes, I'll donate. And I showed her Jackson's picture and stuff. You're gonna be able to work it.
Let me think. All I can think of is like the food truck spot. The food truck spot. There's basically, it's just the food trucks. There isn't anybody there to chase you off the food truck spots.
Where's that?
There's two. There's one over by 7th Street, and then there's one over there, sort of across the street from where the Apple store is, over there on University.
Okay.
There's one right there, and then there's one over by, like I said, there's one over there by 7th. But, yeah, and then I think that'd actually be pretty reasonable, because it's coming up on the lunch hour here pretty soon, and I think that makes.
Where is it on University?
So, like, it's south of the Silver Fox. Basically, it's like if you're heading north on University from where the zoo is, it's on your right hand side. Let's see, I can actually show you on a map. Let's see here. Actually, I grew up right there, and so, like, to me, I think of that place because it was a spot. Me and my brother Sam. See, Dr. Morris worked a whole lot when I was a kid, and I was not very well supervised. So, back in the salad days, me and my brother would walk from Park Place, which was the hilltop of the zoo there, to the Tandy Center to go ice skating in the summer. We would walk down there. It was a pretty good walk. But that was one of our resting spots, was where the food truck is now. So, let's see there. It is. Right. basically right back here. So, um, that's one of those. Um,
You said it's across from the Apple store?
yeah.
So like Apple sits right on that edge,
Uh-huh.
across the street, you mean?
Yeah, across the street and just a little bit to the south, but yeah, it's
Okay.
just right
I'm gonna
there.
see if I can do that.
Yeah, because that actually, now that I think of it, it's coming up on the lunch hour. I think that would probably that's
I need
actually
my
reasonable.
cup.
Oh yes, ma'am. You want me to hold on to that or?
No, yeah, that's your money.
Okay.
I don't want to take the money. That's why I made the pit stop. Well, I was going into the gas pipe. I had no idea what it was. I don't want that on mine. But so I was pulling my purse up and that all that just dumped. And I was like, but I had to do this.
Okay, all right. You walk into the gas pipe, full of money. So.
Well, no, it dumped in my purse. And I was like, shit.
Well, thank you.
If I get any more, I'll make another drop. And I already donated online. I think you're up to like 54.
And we've got $3,000 in challenge funds, so that's basically puts us at 8,500, which.
But that's not in there yet?
The challenge funds are something that's going to come after.
Oh.
But yeah, it's that's our total for last year was about $5,000. So
You already got that.
Yeah,
I just looked.
yeah.
If I get more, I'll stop by.
This is the thing, as a volunteer, y'all are the peanut butter that holds the sandwich together. That's the beautiful thing about it. So anyway, I apologize for that.
Oh, you're fine. Everything's good.
But where were we? We were discussing
Oh,
the JC Penney game, yeah. So yeah, that's one of those things that leaves a bad taste in your mouth. You're like, look, we're we're not feathering our beds here.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
And I've explained it to them a few times. Like, let me explain how it works. What Helping Tails doesn't make, and people can call me and say, hey, James, should we donate? I was like, sure, Helping Tails will donate.
Mm-hmm.
Out of my, and I won't tell people, it's not any business,
Mm-hmm.
but I mean, I'm not gonna, if I can, I'm gonna do what I can do.
So your master's was in neuroscience?
Mm-hmm.
Did you have any interest in animal cognition at all? Or?
I understand. That's the cool thing. All the pieces in my head, they help me understand them a little better. And when the vet says whatever, or the behaviorist says, oh, well, this, and then I'm like, okay, well, if you're basing that on how the brain works, so all the weird pieces I have all fit together somehow, and they work well.
Okay. Well, so is there something that you do in your? I mean, is Helping Tails? Is it your primary job?
No, I have a real job.
Okay. All right.
I'm an IT manager for a small corporation in Garland.
Okay.
And so I go out there 5 days a week. I'm on call 24/7, 365.
The IT guy is.
The IT guy is. And so, and I keep them up and running, and I can remote in, I can take care of problems 90% of the time from wherever I'm at.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I've been here next month will be 13 years.
Mm-hmm.
So,
So obviously you like it.
I'm good at it.
Yeah. So there you go.
And Lord willing, maybe this will take off. And we're winning awards. My Doggy Heaven book won an award at North Texas Book Festival at Review. That one and my dinosaur book, my bullying book.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm starting to win awards. People are starting to notice.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to be doing a talk at the Arboretum in Dallas on the 8th. Reading the anti-bullying book to kids. Going to schools and talking about reading books, talking about bullying, volunteering, making a difference, teaching them they can do something. So busy.
So there's different things that kids can do, different things that adults can do to help. And I tell you what, there's this little girl. she's from a neat little girl, but she raised almost $5,000 for us on her birthday.
Mhm.
Like, and she's 10.
Yeah.
You know, she's a young kid. But this cat room up here, named after her and her brother. It's the Eleanor and Benjamin Walker cat room. Okay, so when they heard what I was doing for Vortex New Day here, I was staying up here in the shelter for 3 days. They decided they wanted to sleep in the cat room. You know, the night before, you know, they went out securing pledges saying, hey, you know, this is how committed we are to, and they went out raising pledges. Their goal for Vortex New Day is $5,000 just in the pledges they've secured. And so, um, you know, people talk about like, so when I think about like, you know, how can people help? Kids can help in certain kid ways. Some kids can help in ways like that, and then there's ways that adults can help. So, I mean, what are your thoughts on things that people can do to help? You know, in terms
Well,
of
volunteering, fostering, raising money, raising awareness, going out to, whatever event, passing out literature, passing out, saying, hey, have you guys gone to Animal Hope? Hey, you gone to Operation Kindness? Educate people. Well, it's like that young volunteer. These are not damaged dogs.
Mhm.
These are beautiful souls that we are caretakers of.
Right.
So it's our job to help them.
Mhm.
They don't have a voice, so we need to speak up for them.
Protect the people that are weaker than you. You know, I mean that's the thing. And when you care about someone, whether that's a person or an animal, you use the knowledge of their weaknesses to protect them. You don't use the knowledge of their weaknesses to get a jab in when you're feeling, you know, frisky, I guess. So I mean that's the thing. It's be the dog.
Yeah.
Don't be.
Oh yeah.
You know.
I tease my friend all the time. I tell him that I have a dog OS. I don't run a normal human OS. 'Cause I've been around dogs long enough that I try to look at it from their side of the view versus how most of the people I run into do. It's like I'm here to be happy, to do what I can, and I'm loyal and friendly, and I'm happy to be here. So try doing it that way for a while and see a better life.
Yeah. No kidding. I mean, look. Yeah.
He finally took it.
Yeah. He will eventually. That's the thing. And being up here, he's up here. He's up here right now because mommy can't be trusted with potty training.
Oh,
So he's up here with me and Merida, and yeah, it's funny. It's a lot of stimulation up here. So he does spend a lot of time crashed out because there's a lot of stuff going on. So yeah, he's like, right, Merida. You've been whooping you all morning, hadn't you? Oh, you're right, okay. Well, all right. Well, so where can we go to buy the books?
Well, if you guys want to do it for like we do sell them wholesale, and for rescues and stuff, so they can make a profit or at least make some money out of it. I know for Operation Kindness, when we first started, what we did with them is we sold them, basically at cost plus $1 or something like that. And so then we turned around and told them, well, get a donation for the book. You've paid for the book, and all the rest of the money is yours. So, like Cooper, we sell Cooper for $5. Yeah, and when I sell them online, they sell for 10. Or not for 10, it's for 7. But I tell them, when you guys are selling them, sell them for 10. You've made your money back from buying it, and you got $5. So, and this is about rescue. This is all about rescue. So it teaches kids, it teaches people, hey, rescue sometimes takes 2 or 3 tries. Because that's the story of that dog. He tried 2 or 3 times to find the right home, and it took him, 2 or 3 times.
Right.
But in the process, it was people helping, it was fosters, it was this, so trying to educate the world on, hey, this is how it really works. It's not all, you go to the bank, oh, perfect, and then you get home and, I don't like that dog.
Yeah.
And it's like, and it does happen, and it's a sad thing because you and I know it does happen. But it's like, okay, fine, bring the dog back, and we will love him until love him her until it's fine until it's the right person.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that's one thing I love about Operation Kindness is it is no kill.
Mm-hmm.
So unless it's some serious behavior or some serious help, they're there safe and they're there however long it takes.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, and that's the thing, you know, and you know when people know that, you know, they're trying real hard to get them in, and you say, well, you know, I mean, that's where everybody wants their dog at. That's where everybody wants their cat at.
oh yeah, yeah.
You know, so I mean, it's a real challenge. I mean, you
Oh no,
know,
no, I
working in this sort of
understand.
environment.
I like I said, I work with a lot of rescues, a lot of shelters, small groups that they're like, hey, we need this or we're doing this, or I'm like, look, I'll donate some books to you and you can go sell them
Mm-hmm.
and keep all of them.
Mm-hmm.
I said, I'm not. I mean, right now I don't depend on this to live on.
Uh-huh.
So if I can do something to help,
Mm-hmm.
I'm more than happy to help.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I mean, we do what we can.
That's fascinating. You know, I mean, you know, starting a publishing company, you know, doing this is it's a fascinating story. And this has actually been one of the great things about this year's, you know, Road Texas Giving Day. That last year, um, I didn't know what Road Texas Giving Day was until I don't know, maybe a month or a month and a half. Yeah, I guess it was about a month and 2 weeks before Road Texas Giving Day. I was calling community foundations in Texas to see if I could how I'd get into the gift giving guide, and they answered the phone. They said, "Are you calling about North Texas Giving Day?" And I said, "Well, no, I wasn't, but indeed, tell me about that."
Exactly.
Yeah, and so you know, it was one of those things that it just, I mean, it had to be thrown together real quick, you know, and so I didn't have a whole bunch of guests lined up, and the thing is that every guest I've had this year has been absolutely wonderful. There's been not a single person come in here that I haven't gone. This is a fascinating person. I'm extremely happy to have had this conversation and met this person, and I hope I have an ongoing relationship with this person. Not a single guest have I not said that about. I've just been like, man. And let me tell you what, the ones that Rebecca lined up, yeah. Thank God the camera's on me. There's whatever, kind of above. So, but yeah, no, it's just been a really remarkable experience. I mean, getting to, um, a lot of people don't know about this side of it. Like
Oh, no.
the people that are out there, you know, people think about volunteering. They think about, but they don't think about the guy, who goes and does, IT support during the day and starts a publishing company. They don't think about that, or they don't think about the kids who are going out there and approaching people, parents of their friends, and asking for pledges. They don't think about all. They think, well, I'll go volunteer. I'll maybe skip a little food or something like that. That helps.
Oh yeah, it
But
does.
the thing is they don't know of all these other ways, that creative ways, brilliant ways that people have thought of to help. It's a really beautiful thing. So, yeah. Well, all right. So let's see. The website is
Helpingtales.com.
helpingtales.com, and if anybody wanted to, they can also order the books online as well.
Yeah,
Okay.
it points in. You can click from there, and we have a section with the books, and it takes you right there.
Perfect. Perfect. Well, all right. Oh, actually, I'm going to, before I've been bringing this stuff up on the computer, but, so James is a wonderful person, just like apparently everybody Rebecca knows. I don't think Rebecca knows any bad people for some reason. Uh, whatever alternate dimension Rebecca is wandering around in, it's just populated with nice, good people. So I don't know what it is, but yeah. So that's awesome. Well, was there anything you wanted to add or anything?
We've got a new book coming out, hopefully in about 4 weeks, hopefully.
Uh-huh.
It's an Alzheimer's dementia book,
All right. All right.
and it's to help parents and caregivers and grandparents talk to kids about Alzheimer's and dementia.
It's a difficult thing. Particularly, I mean, when someone child's close to is dealing with, that particular issue. We'll know over for a long time. Her mother had real early onset dementia, and I mean, it was tough, and you know, honestly, the one of the hardest things about dealing with it was those moments of lucidity, because it's almost as if you know, if it were, you know, if there were no moments of lucidity, you know, you come to peace with it easier, you know. But yeah, it's a struggle. Is there anybody close to you that's been, you know, besides Kim?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Cam, as I've been doing this book and the research and everything, more and more, it's more and more, and it's interesting because I've talked to a bunch of them, and they've all got to read the manuscript, you know, prior to its release, and every single one of them is like, "You're right on. This is perfect. You know, this will help so many people." So I'm all excited. I mean, it's a big deal. I had to go get a new illustrator. My old illustrator moved on, and so it's been a challenge, but you know, it's one of those, okay, time to open the box, pull out some more amazing, and keep moving, you know.
So is it? I mean, is this another one where we're, I guess the viewpoint character is a dog?
No, this one actually is, actually it's based on Kim and her grandson.
Okay.
So it's Kim and Drew, and so she's telling him the story of, you know, sort of why she's losing her words. And so the title is The Word Thief, and his little nose, and you see him, and the way that some of the pictures are is you see him pulling a word out of somebody's ear, and she's describing it and saying, look, you know, I'm going to forget this, or I'm going to forget that, and I'm writing this stuff down so you can be there. And it's just the pictures are done really well. They talk about, you know, look, you know, while I still can, you know, let's, you know, take a rocket ship to Mars. Let's, you know, it's all imagination, but still, you know. And it says, you know, it's happening, but it's not malice. It's not that somebody hates me. It's not. It's just happening.
Yeah.
And right now there is no cure, but maybe one day. You know, so but it's still hopeful. It's still loving, and you know the whole story is, you know, you still see me no matter what. So I think it's well done. I'll be happy when it's done.
Right.
Because reading a book from beginning to end is actually a chore.
Yeah. Yeah, I bet.
So, and the good thing I can say is I got to do this. This is my seventh original book. So, it's been it's a cool experience.
Yeah. It's you know, it's amazing what you're doing, man. I mean, I mean, it really is amazing. I mean, I think, you know, there's a lot of people that go through their lives, um, not, you know, not helping with stuff like Alzheimer's awareness, or you know, rescue awareness, or any of these things, not because they don't care. It's like maybe it's never occurred to them.
Right.
And that's the thing. It really is, you know, really is beautiful to see somebody that, like, you know, um, you know, has, you know, over a decade of commitment to, you know, charitable organizations, charitable awareness is not just, you know, put in a token. It's you know, this is a part of your life. It's a substantial commitment to goodness, basically. So, you know, yeah, that's amazing, man. I really appreciate that. So, yeah. Well, I'm glad I wasn't wearing the turkey hat during this conversation. I think it would have detracted. I think it would have detracted from it. But no, yeah. I really appreciate you coming down. That's great. And yeah, I will be ordering a couple of copies of the
Okay, stop.
yeah, for
Well,
my dad's.
this set is for you.
Oh,
Right here.
perfect.
Alright.
Okay.
So,
Yeah. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate it,
thank
Dave.
you.
Yeah, I appreciate you coming down. Like I say, this has just been a, you know, a great experience, just because, like I said, the people I've met have just been, you know, amazing. So.
Alright, well, thank you for having me.
Yeah, of course. You know, I thank you for coming down here. Like I say, it's,